Hey guys, it's Emma. Darren and I just wanted to apologize in advance for this week's audio. Next week, we will remember to turn on our microphones. Regardless, we hope you guys enjoy this episode.
Right?
Yeah, WWDD. What would Darren do?
What would Darren do?
What?
Welcome to Cue the Mic, episode 14.
Welcome to Cue the Mic.
I was
Welcome
just
back.
screwing with Emma.
Yeah.
Once again, if you listened to us before, she has struggles with the intro.
I do.
And but someday
it'll get easier.
Someday it'll get easier, and it probably doesn't help that I make fun of her every time that she all of a sudden tries to psych herself up to start a new episode. And
it's fine. If I'm by myself, I do just fine. Again, the Luke
and
episode.
I'm coming with another glorious background here.
It looks just like mine.
For use on YouTube. Plain walls. One of these days we're going to have to work on that. But in the meantime, we're just going to sit in the corporate office, boring conference room, and talk about business.
Get you some wallpaper or something fun.
Not sure Sherry's going to allow that. She's kind of this is like Sherry's thing, plain walls.
I respect that.
This is her jam. I'm just lucky enough that she let me borrow
her conference room
today.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, not in the kitchen.
Well, I was going to go home. I actually went home.
This early? For
lunch. I was craving, so.
You had lunch?
Yeah, I never eat lunch, but so last night I have a friend up in Wisconsin. We were at this competition. He keeps talking about his teriyaki meatballs that he sells on his food truck. And Tim's Full Belly Deli. A lot of listeners know him. Tim's the godfather of Wisconsin barbecue. Anyway, he has a specialty item that he sells on his food truck, and it's a teriyaki meatball. So. And I won't give his whole recipe out, but it's pretty much you're taking pre-made beef meatballs, soaking them in teriyaki and pineapple, cooking them off, covering them with teriyaki, some sesame seeds and green onions, and serving them on top of fried rice.
Oh yeah.
And he only makes like 15 or 20 a day, but he sells them out every day. And he had me thinking about teriyaki meatballs. Well, of course, I have to do things the hard way. So
that's true.
I went home last night. I had some pork trimmings that I needed to grind up, and I was wondering what I was going to do. So where Tim uses a beef meatball, I'm like, I'm just going to make mine with a pork meatball. So I did my normal, go out to the internet, read 10 recipes about teriyaki meatballs, find like things, and come up with my own recipe. So I blended together this recipe, made these meatballs. Made them all up, baked them off, made this homemade teriyaki sauce, made rice, and then it's always like, and then I'm adjusting it as I go. Didn't have enough. To me, it needed a little bit of heat, but Sherry was there, so I couldn't have a lot of heat.
Right.
And so I tried to add a little heat into it, which worked. I mean, it worked. I pulled it off, and so then the moment of truth, you sit down to dinner, and I had already eaten a meatball when she was in the other room because I wanted to test it to make sure it was something she'd eat, or I didn't have to go make her a hamburger or whatever. And it was really good. And I'm like, hey, let's try this. Why don't you try this? So she tried it, and she's like, she just loved it. And she's like, you got to put this in the weekly rotation.
Really?
So, yeah.
We don't touch the weekly rotation very often.
Well, we don't have much of rotation, but we always forget we have great items to cook. And this was this was a skill level 4 out of 10 maybe. But I love stuff with a little bit of skill level to them, especially when everything was made from scratch. There was nothing. Everything was made from scratch. The meatballs were made from scratch, and the sauce was all made from scratch. And I'm getting pretty good at being a rice cooker. I'm the Instapot rice king. And so, I've learned, my buddy Justin McGlon, he
Mm-hmm.
taught me that, you got to wash your rice. You got to wash it really, really good. And you just massage it and wash it and get all that starch off of there.
Mm-hmm.
But
Nothing.
you're thinking about a Chinese massage parlor, weren't you, when you were thinking about rice?
What? No.
That was on my TikTok feed too. Massage parlor.
What the heck?
I massages. Where did that just go? Anyway, back in. Reel it back in, Darren. Reel it back in. Anyway, so we're doing this. So this rice, you got to do it, and then
Yeah.
you got to fry it in oil
Oh.
to get it
Mhm.
dried out. So you put the old saute button on. You start frying it in this. I put it in a grapeseed oil, one of my favorites, and kind of cooking this rice till it really started to smell kind of like popcorn a little bit.
Mhm.
It wasn't turning brown, but it was drying out. And then just add the water in, and 3 minutes on, 10-minute natural release, and it's perfect every time. And I mean, this rice was killer good, especially with the teriyaki sauce, and so I gorged myself full of that last night, and then today I'm sitting there this morning. I normally don't eat lunch, but all
Yeah.
I could think about was that damn leftover meatball with rice in my refrigerator. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to call an early day and go home. And then I remembered it's grandkid day, and grandkids will be over, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to eat lunch, and I'm out of here. I'm going back to the office.
Right.
Because they're fun to be with, but not all afternoon, I'm guessing, and maybe they won't be. But so it's just, and the meatball today, I'm critiquing it, and I'm going, okay, maybe it's a little too sweet, maybe a little bit more Hoisin sauce, a little more ginger.
Yeah.
Trying to tweak it, but overall, very successful. Now I'm sitting there going, can we do this at the Ornery Chicken, but make an all ground chicken meatball? And
Not the restaurant I thought you would throw at.
Yeah. No, with Smokey D's, I'm on a gizzard mission, I think.
You were on a gizzard mission at the Ornery Chicken for a while.
Yeah, I know, but they fight me there. They fight me about having gizzards, so they won't fight me at Smokey D's. Nobody ever fights me at Smokey D's. So I'm going to guess I'm going to perfect gizzards, because gizzards is, it's not really a DoorDash delivery type food.
No.
But it's a farmer and hardworking construction guy food, especially at happy hours.
That's most of our argument anyway at the Ornery Chicken.
Right. So I think I'm going to work on this gizzard recipe and maybe start handing out free gizzards at happy hour, just to kind of
test her
see
out,
what happens, see some feedback and whatever. So
that would be fun.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Wow.
Pretty interesting.
That does sound good. And I could probably eat it.
And you could probably eat it.
Mm-hmm. It's a big thing for me lately. Is what I can and can't eat.
I hate that.
It's just part of the gig. 20 pounds. Lost 20 pounds as of yesterday.
Mm-hmm. I think I found about 5 of them for you.
From this weekend? Party too hard?
Jeez, these guys at these competitions,
they're younger than you?
They're just not good for your liver.
That checks out.
Yeah, I've been kind of on the not really drinking much and whatever.
Me too.
Yeah, well, that ended. We did have a nice we were up in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, cooking this barbecue contest, and Sherry and I were looking for a place Thursday night, and local dive, and we found a restaurant, Pete's Garage Bar, and it was just a dive bar, and they were they were rude. They were, they're like, hey, if you want to order, I mean, they had an instruction book how to act on the table, and it was like, hey, if you want food, we're not coming to take your order. Come up to the bar and give us your order. And when your food's ready, we're going to yell at you. And if you don't pay attention, we're going to scream at you. And if you're not paying attention, we're going to start throwing coasters at you till you come get your food. And I
kind of love that.
and all these guys were just rude as could be. And we're sitting there watching they had a little 24-inch flat top grill. They're
Mm-hmm.
cooking burgers on. And the burgers were really good, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I mean, I'm talking to the guy that's cooking. He's kind of seems like he's the manager. He's not the owner, but and sitting there talking to him, he goes, "Yeah, we cook about 1,000 burgers a week on this little 24-inch grill."
That's a lot.
And so they do pretty much burgers. They put a chicken sandwich, a chicken breast. They take a frozen chicken breast, throw it on the grill, and start steaming it. And then they have this prime rib that's already cooked, and they slice it like a half-inch thick, and they just throw that on the grill, put Worcestershire sauce on it, and then they put like onion salt, garlic salt, whatever, the same stuff they put on a burger.
Yeah.
And they grill it on both sides till it's warm. Then they cut it in half and put it on a bun, and here you go, throw it at you. So good. I mean, I'm not a prime rib guy, but it looked.
Oh, I love prime rib.
It looked amazing, and one of the guys that's sitting next to us, he comes up and he goes, "Hey, I need to get an order to go for my girlfriend. What do you want?" She says, "Well, I want a prime rib sandwich, but she wants barbecue sauce on it." And the bartender, without even thinking of anything, he looks at him and goes, "Dude, get out of this relationship. You have to get out of this relationship right now. You cannot
Red flag.
Long term with somebody that puts barbecue sauce on the prime rib."
Red flag.
And it was funny. But anyway, overall, it was a good contest. Got our big second win in a row.
Yeah.
We're on a hot streak.
I don't think streaks start until 3.
Oh, way to burst my bubble, Emma.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm just motivation for the next one.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, when you only cook about once every 3 weeks now, it's kind of...
Yeah, you've really cut back.
But this was a great venue. I mean, we're in Brighton, we're in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, a place called Brighton Acres, and it's a wedding venue.
Oh,
and
that's
so
fun.
they had this old-time bar that they have wedding rehearsals and stuff in. And then they have a newer building that had this kick-ass bar in it. And then they had a whole big area for huge wedding thing, whatever. But they just got done hosting the National Volleyball Tournament the week before. And they had like 320 volleyball courts set up, 1,200 teams, and 8,000 participants.
Yeah, I think I actually know somebody or 2 people that were playing in that.
And it was just nuts. And Adam and his wife, Adam's just a great guy, and he owns the thing. And Courtney, his event organizer and whatever. I mean, just amazing people. First year contest only had 18, 19 teams, but man, it was they could take on 500 teams. I mean, it was
a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, I mean, they were a little disappointed. They had a bunch of activities set up for Friday. They had the chainsaw company had brought out this whole logging competition, where they climb the pole and where they see how fast they can slice stuff by hand and whatever. They had a whole competition set up that way with a truck. They did that 3 shows. On Saturday night, they had a hot air balloon. The wind was blowing wrong, so they couldn't actually launch the balloons, but they had a glow. Actually, both nights they had a glow. And then just all food trucks, craft fair, all kinds of stuff. Really, really great. So we're looking forward to going to that one next year, and hopefully they carry it on. And I imagine he probably much lost his ass there, but sometimes you have to do that in the first couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah, first place.
So so we pulled out. Sherry called it. She loved our chicken. I thought it was okay. Get first place in chicken. Ribs I thought were pretty decent. We get second place in ribs. Pork we thought was good. 4th place in pork, and brisket was a challenge. Yeah. So everybody thinks because I'm sponsored by Snake River Farms that they have a full-time person that goes out in the plant and specifically looks for the genetics and marbling and thickness of every brisket I want. Well, I'm here to tell you, I usually get the crap, and everybody wants to complain about their briskets. I'm like, are you kidding me? I never get one that good. Oh, you're lying to me. No, and I just had this conversation with Anella at Snake River today. I'm like,
Mhm.
everybody thinks that I get all this great briskets, but in fact, the matter is, I just work on cooking it. I think it's a challenge.
Mhm.
So my brisket was, I mean, literally, you want a competition brisket to be inch and a half thick, let's say,
Mhm.
and sometimes they're only an inch and a quarter, and sometimes they're 2 inches thick. Mine was a little over a half inch thick, 5/8 inch. I'm like,
Hmm.
it had more fat on it than meat. And people
Cool.
are looking at that going, and I'm showing it around. I'm
Mm,
going
right.
because I'm
Yeah, you're
and
trying to
look,
prove a point.
I'm cooking this thing. I can cook
Mhm.
anything, and they're like, "You're not cooking that." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, yep, I'm cooking this." No, there's no way. And I'm like, "Nope, I'm cooking it." And so
Mhm.
we cooked it, win our table, get fifth in brisket. And I was like, it's real easy. You just got to cook a good brisket. But
Mhm.
if it's not very thick,
Mhm.
then you have to like cook it a little bit more so you can slice it really thick. So when the judge picks it up, they feel like they're getting a whole portion. So
Oh, interesting.
you can take a big brisket and
Mhm.
slice it somewhat thin, and they feel like they're getting a whole portion. Well, I was only able to fit 6 slices of brisket in the box. It was so thick. I mean, I sliced it well over half inch thick,
Hmm.
and it worked. It worked, and
Yeah, it did.
it was a decent brisket. There just wasn't a lot of it,
Mhm.
but it led us off to the grand champion. And I thought, wow, that's two grand champions. I got at least a chance at the jack, right? I got two draws for the jack. Well, then I turned in my paperwork for the jack, and I sent a message to verify, and the guy was like, "What are you talking about? Two? You have four entries." I'm like, "Four?" She's like, "Yeah, you got two wins last August that still qualify for this year's jack because the August 1st is the day. So
Uh-huh.
it's August 1st to July 31st, and from a qualifying period." And I said, "Well, hell, I had four. If you get seven, it's an automatic, which I can't do because we got a birthday party this weekend, so I can't even make a run at getting it done."
Right.
Which odds were, but I told her, I said, "Wow, if I would have known I had four, I probably would have tried." It.
Sounds about
At
right.
least tried harder, or maybe cooked a little
Yeah, maybe
more than
gone to a competition or two.
once every 3 weeks instead. I think this was probably competition number 7 of the year,
Yeah,
which
you're
that's just
slacking
unbelievable
this
for me.
season.
I'm really slacking, but once again, the two rub, two sauce combo paid off across the board. The streak continues.
Yeah, that one. That's a streak.
Yeah,
But
but you know, it's all about a great time, great
mhm.
contest. I think
Right.
we're off this weekend. Got the
Mhm.
granddaughter's first birthday, so
Yeah, Henley
we're
turns
hosting
one.
that. Now I'm trying to work on the menu about what I'm serving for brunch.
What?
Um, yeah, brunch. You heard me say it.
This is
Brunch
the first time his marketing manager has heard anything about a brunch.
for for
Oh.
Henley's birthday party.
Oh, you made it sound like it was for the menu, as in our menu.
No,
I've
Christ
caught
no.
on now. I was gonna say,
So
what?
So,
We
so
could. We open soon
we're
enough.
having brunch. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I've got this
Waffles.
idea that I'm going. Well, so I do have a waffle idea,
Yeah, I love
but
waffles.
but I want to take a piece of a chicken tender, stuff it inside a King's Hawaiian roll,
Mm-hmm.
dip it in waffle batter, and put it in the waffle iron and cook
Okay.
it. And I'm trying to figure out if I'm
Okay.
going to use the Hawaiian bun or if I'm just going to do the fried chicken dipped in waffle batter and smushed. I think the bun will help protect it, the breading on there, and the breading
Interesting.
won't just come up. Yeah,
Hmm.
and it's a flour, so
Did
we're
somebody like inspire that recipe, or did you just think of that?
no. I saw somebody did the same
Because
thing
that's
without
kind
the
of
chicken in
wild.
the center. I saw somebody do something. I don't know. Maybe Haley or somebody showed me on TikTok
Mm-hmm.
or one of these things, but of somebody taking just a bun and doing that. I'm like, well, why would you just have a bun inside a waffle? Why wouldn't you put some
Yeah.
chicken in
Why
there?
would you? Why would you just have a bun inside a waffle?
I don't know. It seemed weird to me, but it kind of said, "Hey, let's put some chicken in the center of this." So, yeah, I don't even have a waffle iron, but I'm going to have to
So
come up.
maybe you are testing. just
I
for our menus.
well, and I'm going to put them on sticks, right?
Oh,
So
dangerous game.
of course, it's a flour.
Mm-hmm.
It's a what do you call it? A flour theme.
Yeah.
So I got to make
That's
these
adorable.
little pie crust
Mm-hmm.
where you cut out with a flour and you put in the middle of a mini cheesesteak pan, and then we're going to fill it full of this like homemade blueberry filling and homemade strawberry filling and just I don't know.
Edible arrangements.
Yeah, kind of not really, but kind of.
But yeah, I don't eat
And then
food that's on a stick anymore.
And then I think we're going to attempt to make the old Luscious Loins breakfast sandwich. One of the teams on the barbecue.
Oh, I was going to say.
Luscious Loins. They take his girlfriend takes eggs and cooks them in a sheet pan. Takes sausage, spicy sausage, cooks it in a sheet pan, cools it all down, puts King's Hawaiian rolls, layers it all up with some pepper jack cheese, I think, puts it in there, and when they put it in the oven to reheat it, they drizzle it with maple syrup and butter.
Yeah,
and
that.
It's this nice, sweet, spicy sandwich. So
yeah,
I'm probably going to have bacon ones and sausage ones, and I don't know.
Right.
I got the rest of the week to deal with that. But.
That does sound like a good menu.
But Haley's. I got to think of things because otherwise, Haley's, my daughter, is all over Pinterest trying to figure out extreme things to make.
Don't you love that? It's inspiration.
A little bit of inspiration, but sometimes it's just a matter of just need to feed food. All these people that are coming. I can throw out burnt ends, and they'd go, "Oh, sweet." Right. But every time when I throw out all this funky food, they're like, "Where's the burnt ends? Why don't I have burnt ends?"
I get family events. I still am like, "Where's the barbecue?" I'm like, I don't know, guys.
Yeah, I don't like barbecue.
I just work there. I don't bring it everywhere.
I just work there.
Yeah.
So anyway, we overcame adversity in the barbecue contest, and we rolled out nice little payday too. I mean, it was a beautiful contest. Sherry, I think Sherry is remotivated about competition barbecue. She calls me this morning and says, "Hey, where are we going next? What are we doing?" And I'm like, "I thought you were kind of like 3/4 of the way out the door on this sport."
Yeah.
And she was just like all about it. She was like, "Well, I know we're doing this and this week, and what about this week?" I'm like, "Why are you so interested in this anymore?" "Well, I don't know. The Jack Strong's coming up, and just kind of get you back in the mood."
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not quite there yet, but it's fine. I mean, she's going to want it. I mean, she doesn't listen, so I can say stuff like this, but it means she's going to want to go along more.
No, you have a carpool buddy.
Which is fine. She's we drove all the way back from Wisconsin. She read a book and slept. We never turned on the radio, and I'm not sure. I think maybe she once said, "Hey, can we stop and pee?" That's the only thing I heard out of her mouth in 6 hours.
That's such a long time. But that probably kind of nice.
That was great.
Probably kind of nice. Yeah. Overcoming adversity. I actually thought that's kind of what we could talk about today, because I really found, if you guys listened to last week's episode, we talked about that California law, the Proposition 12, and that was my favorite part of the whole episode, despite you admitting to be a secret Swiftie.
Yeah, I see you made that the headliner.
I thought it would go further on TikTok because Taylor Swift's all the rave. Twyford's the only one that said anything. Surprise, surprise. But yeah,
he wants to be in the podcast business. By the way, he wants.
He's a natural.
He was coming. Hey, I got an idea. Let's do another podcast.
Oh my God.
So I said, "Well, you're going to have to get a little better quality camera and some better quality internet at home because
and a microphone."
He's still running on 256K.
Actually, he might not even need a microphone because he talks so loud.
Yeah, but anyway, he'll be. We might.
We'll have him back. We'll have him back probably.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun. But anyway, Proposition 12. And
yeah, I thought that was the most interesting part for me, just because I feel like I learned a lot from it. Because it's something that seems really small, like it had such a major impact. Because I mean, California is a big state, but like it was a law for one state and it affected the entire country, kind of thing, in a
right.
sense. So I thought it would be interesting to kind of, talk more about those sort of hardships and stuff, because obviously we're just coming out of COVID within the last years, whatever. And that was a crazy time for so many people, and a lot of businesses failed and stuff. And like kind of how you and Sherry and like Smoky D's, his company, kind of pushed through that. And things like that. Because being in the business this long, competition and restaurant, there's definitely probably been a lot. And you guys don't quit, So I thought it'd be kind of interesting to get more insight.
There's a lot, by the way. COVID only lasted 3 months. I didn't know that. We're just coming out of it. It's 2023, Emma.
It lasted technically almost 3 years. I said last year. It
only in the news.
Okay. Well, I also listen to the news. I listen to our president sometimes.
You do?
I said sometimes. So, yeah, it's just, again, an age gap situation.
It's an age gap.
Yeah.
And
you guys don't have to believe it, but I did.
Now sometimes it's a gender gap, really. But
oh, Jesus. Man, all the callbacks to episode 1 we've had in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, exactly. But you're right. I mean, life is full of those. And
yeah.
And I talked to a lot of people. I talked to a lot of people this week. It's amazing how many. Once again, I thought my mom and your mom were the only ones listening to this thing.
I knew they weren't. My grandma listened too, so I knew there's more than just those two.
Hi, Grandma. Anyway, but it's just, it's crazy that people are like, I can't believe you just gave me that tip.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the guys this past weekend, he goes, I never would have thought about putting burn ends at the end of the table. It's little things. And that's why it's like, okay, what's more content? Because we want more content. We want to teach. And I'm like, okay, what haven't we taught them yet? Emma's got a homework assignment that she's supposed to be working on. She probably forgot, that kind of lists kind of the bullet points off of every podcast from a high level view, so that we can make sure we're not duplicating stuff. Remember that homework assignment?
I didn't know you wanted a copy. I got them all locked up. I tell you if we talked about it or not.
Well, if they're locked, but I think it's easier for me to see it.
Fair enough. All right.
But anyway,
write it down.
It's just about thing. And so one of the biggest lessons that you can learn, whether it's in competition or whether it's business, is how do you deal with adversity? Because adversity is there every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And if you let adversity bother you, then I'm telling you, don't even attempt it.
Right.
Don't even attempt it. Because, for instance, let's talk about competition barbecue for a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's I love when shit goes wrong. Right? And people are like,
you're one of the few.
Like, no. I said, exactly. I love when shit goes wrong. I love when it's 10 minutes till turn in, my chicken still needs 20 degrees. I love when my fire goes out, and how do you deal with it? Because to me, we've been doing it so long that everything else is kind of boring. That I like when shit goes wrong, because I like to have a problem to solve.
That's when you're mentally stable and you don't have anxiety.
Is that mentally stable? Is that what they call it?
I think a little bit. I mean, that would have me, I would probably give myself a heart attack because I'd get so stressed. But I'm also an anxious person.
I know. And that's true a lot with a lot of people, and especially I think your generation.
Oh yeah.
That they get so stressed, and I'm like, what are you getting stressed for? Right? So let's take
away your birthday.
Let's take, that's right. And I say that for a reason.
Yeah.
So let's take that for answer. So you're talking this weekend, you're talking about Post Malone. She goes to the Post Malone conference. I can't believe she went to this concert because I denied her time off request.
I got
But
I got
she
approved by the
evidently
higher ups.
she got approved. But so you said you got stuck.
Yeah, yeah. So in St. Louis on a Friday night, they had severe thunderstorms almost all day. We're in Maryland Heights, and we get to the venue, and we're watching storms like go right by us, right? And then by about the end of the concert, it just starts absolutely downpouring, like unreal amount of rain. Felt like I was in a tsunami. And there's thunder, lightning, all this stuff, right? And he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna do this one song, and then we gotta go." And so he finishes, the concert to the best of his abilities. I got 3 songs cut. I was only a little sad about it. But then we had to sprint back to the car because, like, there was hundreds and hundreds of people at this concert, probably even thousands. And you're in the middle of this rainstorm, so we had to run back to the car, try not to lose all 4 of our people, which we did lose one for a while. So, whoops. But and find the car in pitch black, and rain's coming at us from every angle. It was so bad that my contacts got dry and I couldn't even see. Like, my eyes were closed, and I had to have people dragging me to the car because I was like, "Guys, my contacts have folded. I'm blind."
Were you drinking?
No, I'm
Okay.
sober.
Carry on.
No, I was driving too.
Did your mom not raise you right? What are you doing? You're going to a concert and you're not drinking?
It's because of Farrell's, not because I want to.
Okay. Carry on.
So, we get to the venue. We get to the car. We're stuck in traffic for about 2 hours. Come to find out, their entire parking lot flooded. So, like, so we got put in like a back lot, but the lot we were supposed to park in was flooded so bad that cars stalled out, and then water was like at the top of their hoods. And so it's just like one of those situations where when you're trying to leave and you're stuck in a thunderstorm, you're like, this may not be the safest situation. And just trying to face that. I had to be calm because I had to get us out of there. Was a lot for me anyway, and especially since we lost our friend for almost an hour, just disappeared. But yeah, it was just like one of those situations of like trying to keep my cool so that I didn't freak everybody else out, even though on the inside I was like screaming because I knew I don't like driving in less than perfect conditions anyway due to my history with vehicles. So I was a little stressed, and we were driving my grandma's car, so I was like, I cannot ruin this car. So yeah, it was just one of those things of where I had to kind of remember where I was and what I was doing, and really, I had to really focus on like staying calm, because in those situations, normally I'm wired. My breathing gets hard, but yeah, it was just chaos.
My breathing gets hard.
Yeah. Sometimes I just breathe. I get a little pant. I get nervous. I'm an anxious person. I think we've talked about this before.
You're a very anxious person,
yeah.
and I don't get excited about really anything.
No, you show no emotion ever, which is great. Lucky you. I wish.
Right. Well, but that's I think that's the lesson. Is you're sitting here now, right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
And it's all past you, right?
It's a memory.
Did you wreck your grandma's car?
No. Only messed up her leather seats just a little bit.
Did you listen to a concert?
Yeah.
Did you enjoyed a concert? You had an adventure. It's
a memory.
And now I look back, so you can tell that memory for 20 years, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So why stress out about the car at the time? Because it
was the car and the lives I had in the car.
But if you just think forward,
right?
Think forward. Once again, you're not going to take away my birthday. So my birthday's coming up. You're not going to take away my birthday. So if you start thinking about not just in the moment, but you think about what's the effect of this long term,
right?
And there's really so like when COVID hit.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're in the restaurant, and it's St. Patrick's Day, September 17th. Remember, or March 17th, 2020. I remember it like yesterday. And and they come on and said, we are shutting down all dine-in operations effective noon. And this is 10 o'clock
Mm-hmm.
in the morning. And
Yeah.
so, all of a sudden they're, it may have been 11 o'clock because we're open for business
Mm-hmm.
already. And so
Yeah.
we're open and we're serving dine-in and whatever. And everybody looks at me like, what do we do?
Right.
And I said, well, this is really easy. Well, what do you mean this is easy? So I walked over and I took our plates and our to-go or our for here baskets that we serve all the food in,
Mm-hmm.
and I took them off the line. And I took them back in the kitchen, put them on a table, and I went and got a bunch of 9x9 containers and styrofoam containers, and I put them in the same place. And I said, carry on. Don't put it in this.
Right.
Put it in this. And when the customer orders, say, hey, I can't do that for dine-in because the governor just shut down dine-in, but we can do it for carry-out. Mm-hmm. And virtually, that was the only change we made to our operation.
Yeah.
Now, of course, everybody freaked out and business went to hell for about a week or two. And so we had to really spend a lot of time, trying to figure out how do we deal with this carry-out. So we're doing carry-out business. We still let people in the thing, into the building. They were there, and some people were having fits, and we had to paint lines on the damn thing to say stay 6 feet away, and like whatever, just and
the rules.
Hindsight, if we were bringing up a new POS system at that point, or we were starting to, because that didn't even start and go live until May. So we were trying to bring the system up that would have allowed customers to order online and curbside pickup and all that stuff. So it would have made our job really easy. Yeah. But instead, we did it the old-fashioned way. I sat at the bar because nobody was sitting at the bar with a phone in front of me every day at lunch, taking carry-out orders and putting them, just putting them into the system. We had the Toast system. We just didn't have the online order capabilities.
I was going to say, I didn't realize Toast was that new.
Yeah. So we didn't have we didn't have online ordering up and live and whatever, and that whole mess was over with, and then we get live. But it would have been so much easier because we would have said, "Hey, go to our website, place an order, pay for it on there. When you get here, just text us. We'll bring it out to your car." Done. Mm-hmm. Well, it was much harder that way because the phone rang and rang and rang because people, there was panic in grocery stores and nobody had food and da 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 da. Like everybody does, let's freak out first. Right. And it's the freak out first. And so I think I'm very good about avoiding freak out first. And I think in order to be successful, you can't be the freak out first person. Right. If a tornado, that goes back to my original barbecue contest, when the tornado or the 85-mile-an-hour winds come through, you can't freak out first. You just got to figure out how do you get it done. Right. And I think if you just think that in every decision you make, and avoid the freak out, because the freak out does no good. It does no good to raise your blood pressure. It does zero good. Look at all the times you freaked out over your life, right?
I can tell you.
All the times you freaked out. And you could probably talk about all the times you freaked out this week.
Yes, I could.
But does it matter? Because they all pass. It is what it is, right?
Yes, it is what it is.
So why freak out?
Maybe I like high blood pressure.
No, you don't.
I'm just kidding. I don't.
But I think learning the don't freak out is very, very important part of the business because every day there's going to be something to freak out about, right? And the choice is, do you freak out or do you say, oh, let's just get through this? Back to the we mentioned it many times about walking in the back door, about 3 things being broke. Yeah. So this morning I walked in and they said, hey, only got 2 items for you, Darren. I'm like, wow, sweet, great day.
I'm going to
Let me go find something else wrong.
So you wanted there to be 3 issues today?
Well, no, I expected there to be. So it's not like I want there to be issues. Right. But somewhat deep down inside of me, I kind of hope there are issues. So I go through my day like that. I kind of hope crap is broke. I kind of hope things are going wrong because you know what? It gives me an opportunity to fix something. And there's nothing more fulfilling than being able to have a problem and to fix it. You probably see the dirtiness on my shirt because I was in a in a ceiling above my ceiling tiles because our manager said, "Hey, DirecTV doesn't work. There's no receiver." I'm like, "There's a receiver." And they're like, "No, there's not." And I'm like, "There's a receiver for every TV. It may just be up in the ceiling versus mounted behind the TV." So as we swapped them out, we put them down easier to reach. Mm-hmm. And so I get on the ladder and get up and take out the ceiling tiles. And hey, guess what? It had just got disconnected.
How did that happen?
I don't know. Somebody pulled on a wire or something. I don't know.
Interesting.
So anyway, I was able to just reconnect it, but then I rerouted it and set it all up so it was mounted below. And guess what? Everything's working because the answer is, who do we call? Who do we call? Who's our DirecTV? I said, I'm your DirecTV guy. What do you mean? I'm here now. Okay. But I think there's something fulfilling about fixing shit. Mm-hmm. That things go wrong and finding out a plan. So very important.
Problem solver.
All of a sudden, yeah. And I think you have to be. If you're going to be successful in business, you have to have that mentality. You have to be, and even in competition barbecue. Somebody can teach you how to cook, and you can follow. I see it all the time. You see all these cooks that have their timelines and, okay, set my alarm for 8:15 because I have to I have to put my ribs on and do this and da-da-da-da. I don't have any of that crap. You know what? Because it doesn't matter, right? And so if something
did you ever though, or did you start with this mindset or did you develop it?
No, I think I've started with this mindset. I think this goes back to the transportation world.
I was going to say, did that come from the past?
I think it did. I think it came from the transportation world, and I'm blessed to have it. I love having that. And I love having it. I love teaching it now, just because it's like it answers a lot of problems. You can't. I'm like people call up just stressed. I'm like, whoa, take a breath. Okay, take 2 breaths.
Do that, man.
And now just sit back and just do nothing for 2 minutes. What do you mean do nothing? Shit's broke. Well, no, just sit back for 2 minutes and figure out what are my options here. And I think
I had one of those moments yesterday.
Are you learning?
I don't know. I think it just might have been a fluke, but maybe. I've had a lot of stuff go on the last couple of months, so maybe I am. But I was freaking out about the rub bottle situation yesterday, and then all of a sudden I wasn't.
Right. So she called me yesterday and said, "Do we inventory rub at the restaurant?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "I don't have enough rub bottles. And I need to set an order." And she's freaking out. I'm like, "Well, first of all, how many companies fulfill the order of rub within an hour of getting it?" Okay.
Here's back to. First of all,
did you find the rub?
It was the weekend.
First, did you find the rub bottles?
I only had enough to fulfill half of the order because we had a bunch of rub orders. And so I was panicking. And originally, the bottles I even ended up using weren't top tier. I mean, they were still rub bottles, and it all turned out fine. But I only had enough to fill out half the order, and I was freaking out a little bit because the problem is that because of the way our system works, aka our accountant, when I take somebody's money, I got to get it done like that day. We can't really let it sit. And so
she would have never known.
But
she would have never known
I feel like I've been trained that way.
Yeah.
So, and it had been, they ordered on like Friday. So I was trying to be polite, get them their order. And I only had 3 rub bottles left. And I was like, this isn't enough. But then I texted you and was like, what do I do? And before you responded, I solved the problem.
Right.
Because it took a second to think about it.
You sit back and said, if I was Darren, what would he do? Well, first I'd figure out, where would we have any rub bottles? Right?
Yeah, WWDD. What would Darren do?
What would Darren do?
But yeah, I couldn't remember because the stuff we inventory and the stuff we don't inventory, sometimes I forget. So I was just like, I don't know if I can just go steal them, but I stole them.
You can always steal them.
Yeah,
because otherwise it's just an accounting error.
Yeah,
it's fine. We fix it.
Okay. Yeah, no. But
so the moral of the story is, when shit goes wrong, take 2 deep breaths, sit there for 2 minutes, and think about every single option. Think about every single option.
WWDD.
Because there's another option, and then implement it. Right? And it's going to be right on. And who cares if you do the wrong thing? Who cares? What are they going to do? Take away your birthday? No.
I don't know. Sometimes I worry if I do the wrong thing too many times, I could lose a job or something. I got a dog to pay for. I can't lose a job. It's just a child. Leave me alone.
What do you think it is that your age, your generation makes you a freak out generation?
I don't know. You could research it. There's a lot of theories. I don't know if I believe one or the other. I've always just been a nervous person. So
personally,
how I am.
I think it's because personally,
okay.
I think it was when I was a kid and your bicycle was broke, you better figure out a way to fix it if you want to ride your bicycle, right?
That would see.
And so I think what happens is your generation, I think you've never really had to deal with that.
See,
a little bit.
I can think of it a different way.
Not just you, but I look at it from a generational standpoint.
Yeah, it's all different.
Worry. My dad will fix the bike.
But
right?
see, some could theorize that the reason I'm anxious is because, oh crap, I broke my bike. How am I going to fix it before my parents find out? Which raises the stress levels, because if my parents were to find out before I had it fixed, I could get in trouble. I mean,
they're going to find out anyway. Do you think, I look back at the times that we used to sneak away with our girlfriends out to my friend's cabin and whatever, and it was like, oh, we're just going camping at Wiley's house, right? We're just going out to South Fork and camping. No, we weren't. We were going to get drunk. And do you think my parents knew that? I'm pretty sure they knew that when they look back on it.
Mm-hmm.
And they probably knew that, you know what? At least they're not out roaming around town on the street corners. They're at this cabin. They're going to stay there the night. They're safe. They're just going to go have some beers and puke, and they'll be fine. Right? I'm pretty sure that's what they think.
Yeah.
But the whole fix-it mentality of, hey, something's broke, because today the mentality is, oh my God, this broke. Let's call the service company. Well, or we could just plug this piece in that came unplugged, right? Or we could trace it back to, if I don't have power, do I have power at the outlet? Do I have power at the breaker? And just that whole, and maybe all the stuff we learned in shop.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, they don't have shop now. So what do you know about electricity?
That's not true. I was in shop class.
You were in shop too?
Mm-hmm.
So you have no excuse.
No. But I don't normally, I call my parents, but first, normally. But I haven't had any major issue or any non-major issues that I could solve by myself that I haven't.
Yeah.
Most of the time. It's because shit's filling up my tub or something.
Well, it's like our front of the house manager today. She's like, the remote control won't work on the DirecTV. It's not programmed. We can't find that one. I said, okay, first, let's change the batteries. Does it work now? No. Okay. How do you unprogram and reprogram a remote control? Oh, hey, Mr. Google. And guess what? You Google it, and I said, here, Google it yourself. Tell you exactly how to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's helpful.
Yeah, that's fair.
So many more resources today to fix problems
right
on the internet. I mean, hell, we
That's
can
true.
fix life problems. All they have to do is go to Cue the Mic podcast,
Oh my God.
right? We can solve
I don't-
all kinds of problems.
I don't know if we're solving all kinds of problems. But
Or we're giving advice, and it's free
on how Darren solves problems.
on how
If-
Darren solves problems.
Disclaimer, it may or may not work. Please do not hold us fully accountable if it does not.
It'll work.
Okay.
It'll work.
But
Okay, that's enough being profound for today.
profound.
Yeah, profound. Things like take a deep breath and just think about things. Just think through everything. It's all about overcoming adversity.
And not overthinking it.
Don't overthink it. Don't overthink
That's
it. Don't. There's
specialty.
trust me. There's. We were talking about that this morning. Just to go off to a tangent, and all of a sudden the customer calls in and they want to. I need $75 lunches, and we like, $75 lunches. How do we do that? And I'm like,
$75 lunch isn't that? That's not even that many.
We could do that in 5 minutes, right? Just do this and this and this and this and this, because our system is designed around people calling with orders like that. And when they don't, fine. When they do, hey, let's handle it. So anyway, don't freak out. Maybe you should have a don't freak out or a WW. What would Darren do? T-shirt.
Yeah. What would Darren do?
That
would be funny.
I feel like my cameras or something.
That's what I was just noticing. Your camera's about to go out. So if you're watching this on YouTube, that glitch is real. It's not you. Oh my God. It's very intense. But anyway, that might be a sign. We should wrap up just so we don't lose the boss.
It's time to go. Yeah, don't want to lose me. And
I
got to go think of other things to solve. I need problems to solve. But
you have to think of a menu for a 1-year-old's birthday party.
Yeah, I know. That's okay. I work best under pressure. I'll be working on that Friday night about 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock at night, so I can run to the grocery store and get it all done. Because I still have to make breakfast on Saturday for myself. And then I got to go to breakfast so I can come back and serve brunch.
Wait, did you just say you got to make breakfast for yourself and then go to breakfast?
No, I got to go to breakfast. I got to go to breakfast.
I was going to say.
People are showing up at 10:30. People need to show up at 10:30, but I can't be back from my own breakfast that I go out until 8:30. So I got a 2-hour time frame.
Right.
That's what I got.
Got to prep. All right.
Chicken and waffles.
Yeah, chicken and waffles.
In the meantime.
I think that's a wrap on episode 14 of Cue the Mic. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Threads. I'd like to point out that Darren's thread post last week, if you listened, got 0 likes in a week. So
it's all fun and games till somebody gets pregnant.
Yep, big fat 0. So
I haven't been on, and I wouldn't know that because I was infatuated with Threads for about a day.
Sounds about right.
And then I haven't been back on there.
Yeah, that seems to be kind of a common theme.
Yeah.
So follow us on those at Cue the Mic Podcast. If you're listening or watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a like and a comment. Let us know you're here. We're at like 72 or 74 subscribers. We'd like to be at 100.
74? Is that it?
Yeah, on YouTube. Yep, we're at over 100 followers on Instagram though, so glad to see you guys there.
We need thousands.
Yeah, we need thousands. We're working on it.
You're really, Emma, you're going to have to step up your game.
I'm trying.
We don't want to have to bring in Randy Twyford.
Oh, geez. No, we don't. If you want to leave some content ideas, we have a form in our link tree that's in our bios on all platforms. Fill it out. Let us know what you guys want to hear, or leave comments on the post or on YouTube. We're always looking for ideas. Darren and I struggle, and most of the time we're very unprepared. But yeah, anyway.
That's what makes it organic, and I don't know what's wrong with this camera.
It's really trippy. I'm really trying to get out of here so I can stop looking at it.
Okay, well, you know how we get out of here? We hit end and leave.
Yep. All right, guys. Thanks for listening to episode 14 of Cue the Mic. See you next week.
Until next time.